Damn it! They think they can just steamroll us? Tran barked, slamming his fist down on the console. His crew flinched, not from fear of the attack, but from the icy fury in his voice. Sir, Council fleets have commenced bombardment. They're hitting major spaceports and research outposts. We're getting hammered out here, a lieutenant reported, his voice tense over the commotion. Tran's eyes narrowed into slits as he surveyed the chaos unfolding on the screens. All hands, battle stations. Launch the Orion Fleet now, and someone get those goddamn Council bastards on the line. They want a war. He paused, his voice dropping to a deadly growl. Let's show them how Earth fights back. Admiral Samuel Tran's morning started with the usual view from Earth Defense Command's panoramic windows, the calm of space stretching infinitely before him. But serenity shattered when the alarms blared an urgent, discordant symphony, and the tranquility of the stars was eclipsed by the abrupt appearance of Galactic Council warships dropping out of hyperspace. Status report, now! Tran barked, his voice slicing through the chaos as officers scrambled to their stations. Multiple warship signatures detected, weapons hot, they're targeting our orbital platforms and spaceports, reported Lieutenant Harrow, her fingers dancing across the holographic displays, tracking the incoming fire that painted their sensors red. The command center vibrated with the distant thuds of the first impacts, a grim chorus to the visuals of Earth's orbital defenses being obliterated. Tran's jaw clenched as he watched, fury building with each explosion. They think they can just steamroll us? Tran growled, turning to his communications officer. Get me those Council bastards on the line. I want them to hear this clearly. The calm line crackled to life, and the smug face of a Zilorian admiral appeared on screen. Admiral Tran, you are advised to surrender. Consider this a mercy. Cut the crap, Admiral. You just fired the first shot in a war you can't afford, Tran interrupted, his glare as lethal as the ordnance Earth was prepping to return. Pull back now, or so help me, we'll light up your ships like the 4th of July. The Zilorian's eyes narrowed, but before he could respond, Tran cut the transmission. He turned to his tactical officer. Signal the Orion Fleet. Execute Defense Protocol Sigma. Target their flagship first. Let's give them a taste of Earth's hospitality. As his crew executed his orders with precision, Tran watched the strategic map, noting the positions of Earth's hidden assets, the Orion Fleet. Mere mist to some, these ships were Earth's ace in the hole, each vessel bristling with advanced weaponry and stealth capabilities, all hidden in the Oort cloud, away from prying eyes. Admiral, Orion Fleet is in position and ready to engage, confirmed Commander Soto, his voice steady despite the adrenaline that Tran knew was coursing through every person on the bridge. Good. Launch the counterstrike. Target their engines and weapons systems. I want them crippled, not vaporized. We need to send a message, not start a genocide, Tran commanded, his orders echoing through the command center. As the Orion Fleet surged forward, cloaked in both shadow and silence, Tran's focus never wavered from the screens displaying the battlefield. The first signs of Council ships faltering under the unexpected ferocity of Earth's response flickered across the display. Admiral, Council Fleet is retreating from orbital positions. They weren't expecting a full counter-assault, Harrow reported, surprise and relief mingling in her voice. In the dimly lit war room aboard the flagship Orion, Admiral Samuel Tran convened with his senior officers. The walls were lined with screens displaying tactical data and live feeds from the skirmishes still unfolding in Earth's orbit. The mood was tense, but there was an undercurrent of controlled anticipation. All right, listen up, Tran began, his voice cutting through the murmur of conversations. We've pushed their first wave back, but this dance isn't over. They'll regroup and come at us harder. We're not just going to sit back and play defense. Commander Soto, his second in command, nodded. We've got the element of surprise on our side now. They didn't expect the Orion Fleet to pack such a punch. Tran turned to face the holographic map hovering over the table. Here's the plan. We use our mobility to our advantage. Hit and run tactics. Soto, Take the Tempest and Revenant, flank their supply lines here and here. He pointed to 2 sectors on the map marked by blinking lights. Lieutenant Harrow interjected, their communications hub is located on this moon. She zoomed in on a satellite image. If we take that out, it'll throw their fleet into chaos. Tran's eyes flickered with approval. Do it. Harrow, lead the strike. Silence their voices before they can call for more ships. I want them blind and stumbling. As the officers dispersed to their respective ships, Tran pulled up a communication channel to Earth Command. This is Tran. Phase 2 is underway. Tell the brass to keep their pants on. We're not done by a long shot. The following hours were a blur of activity. As Tran's fleet executed his orders, the Galactic Council's forces scrambled to defend their supply lines and communication networks. The Tempest and Revenant, sleek and deadly, swooped through enemy territory, their cannons disabling freighters laden with munitions. Meanwhile, Harrow's team infiltrated the moon base, planting explosives that would later devastate the Council's ability to coordinate their scattered forces. Back on the Orion, Tran monitored the progress, his face illuminated by the glow of the battle screens. Each report that came in was a testament to his fleet's capabilities and his crew's dedication. Admiral, the Council is sending distress signals, reported Communications Officer Lin. They're requesting reinforcements from the Capellan sector. Tran smirked, his gaze hardened with resolve. Let them beg. It won't do them any good. Lin, send a message to all ships, maintain pressure. No let up. We have them where we want them. Hours into the offensive, as reports of success after success streamed in, Tran allowed himself a moment of quiet reflection. The bridge was bustling around him, but in the eye of the storm, there was a strange peace. Admiral Samuel Tran stood on the bridge of the Orion, overseeing the execution of their most audacious maneuver yet. His fleet, now deep in enemy territory, was moving swiftly, striking key outposts with ruthless efficiency. Report, Commander Soto, Tran commanded, his voice steady despite the adrenaline that underpinned every move they made. We've secured sectors 4 and 9, Admiral. The enemy was caught off guard, losses on their side are significant. We're setting up defenses now, Soto responded crisply, pride in his tone as he detailed the tactical gains. Tran nodded, his eyes scanning the live feeds from the various skirmish sites. Good. Keep the pressure on. I don't want them to have a moment's peace to regroup. As the fleet continued its advance, Tran communicated with Earth's defense headquarters. We're making headway, but don't get complacent back home. This is the time to tighten our defenses. They'll be desperate to hit back. The operations room buzzed with activity, a hive of strategic strikes orchestrated with precision. Tran's attention then shifted as Lieutenant Harrow approached, a grim expression on her face. Admiral, we have a situation, Harrow reported, handing over a tablet showing live drone footage. The Council has deployed their elite units in Sector 12. They've set up a blockade. It seems they're trying to cut us off. Tran's eyes narrowed, a flash of anger crossing his features. Those bastards, he muttered under his breath. He quickly regained composure, his mind racing through possible countermeasures. Harrow, take a squadron. Break that blockade by any means necessary. Use the new pulse mines we've been itching to test out. Yes, sir, Harrow saluted sharply, her demeanor reflecting both the gravity of the task and the determination to succeed. The next few hours were a blur of intense space combat. Harrow and her team executed Tran's orders with precision, deploying the pulse mines which emitted a powerful electromagnetic pulse, disabling the enemy's shields temporarily. The blockade crumbled under the surprise and might of Earth's technology, allowing the Orion Fleet to push through and secure a critical passageway. Meanwhile, Tran coordinated multiple fronts, his strategic mind mapping out moves and countermoves like a grand chess master. The fleet's progress was steady, each victory a step closer to securing Earth's place as a formidable power in the galaxy. Admiral, we've broken through the blockade. Sector 12 is clear, Harrow's voice crackled through the calm, a note of triumph cutting through the static. Excellent work, Harrow. Rendezvous with the main fleet. We'll need all hands on deck for the next phase, Tran responded, already focusing on the next challenge. Back at the Galactic Council's headquarters, a flurry of emergency meetings underscored the chaos unfolding as Earth's Orion Fleet continued its relentless advance. Chancellor Karek, facing mounting pressure from his allies, paced the command center, his usual composure replaced by visible frustration. Admiral Zorvek, tell me we have something to stop these Earth savages. Karek snapped, his voice echoing off the cold metallic walls. Admiral Zorvek, a veteran military leader of the Council, responded with a grimace. Chancellor, Earth's tactics are unlike anything we've anticipated. Their use of stealth and advanced weaponry has outmatched our defenses. We're regrouping for a counterstrike, but we need time. Time is a luxury we don't have. Karek barked back, slamming his fist on the table. He turned to his communications officer. Send a message to all member planets. We need more ships, more resources. Earth must not think they can challenge the Council with impunity. Meanwhile, aboard the Orion, Admiral Tran monitored the success of their recent operations. The room hummed with low conversations and the soft beeping of consoles, a stark contrast to the battles raging in space. Commander Soto, status on the push through Sector 15? Tran asked, his voice calm but carrying an undercurrent of urgency. We've secured the sector, Admiral. Losses were minimal, thanks to the new shielding tech, Soto reported, a touch of pride in his voice for the efficiency of his crew. Good. Prepare to fortify the position. I suspect they'll try to reclaim it soon, Tran directed, his strategic mind always 3 steps ahead. As Tran strategized the next phase of their campaign, a communication request blinked on his screen. It was from an unlikely source, a moderate faction within the Galactic Council who were advocating for peace talks. Tran's eyebrow raised in mild surprise. Patch them through, Tran ordered. The screen flickered to life, revealing Ambassador TLA from the planet Viridian, a known pacifist. Admiral Tran, we commend your valor but must urge restraint. The Council is in disarray, and there is significant interest in diplomatic resolution to this conflict, TLA spoke, her tone earnest. Tran leaned forward, his gaze sharp. Ambassador, tell your Council that Earth respects strength. If they want peace, they need to recognize our sovereignty and our place at the table as equals. Until then, we will continue to defend ourselves. Understood, Admiral. I will convey your terms, TLA nodded, her expression grave as the communication ended. The corridors of the Galactic Council's massive space station were unusually quiet as Admiral Samuel Tran strode towards the Grand Assembly Hall. His boots echoed crisply, a stark contrast to the tense whispers that fluttered around him like nervous shadows. Today wasn't just another battle, it was a battle of wits and wills, fought with words in the political arena. Upon entering the hall, a sea of alien delegates turned to stare, their eyes reflecting a mix of respect, fear, and curiosity. Tran's reputation had preceded him both as a formidable military strategist and a staunch defender of Earth's sovereignty. Chancellor Karek, looking visibly worn by recent events, gave Tran a stiff nod as he approached the podium. Admiral Tran, the Council recognizes your contributions to recent discussions. Karek's voice was taut, his usual eloquence clipped by irritation and defeat. Tran scanned the assembly, his gaze unyielding. Ladies and gentlemen of the Council, I stand before you not as an aggressor, but as a guardian. Earth has been forced into a corner, and we've shown that we will not lay down quietly. We demand respect, and we demand recognition. Murmurs rippled through the chamber, some delegates nodding in agreement, while others seemed unsettled. Tran continued, we are willing to end hostilities, but under terms that ensure Earth's future security and prosperity. We seek a seat at this council, as equals, to contribute to a galaxy that thrives on diversity and mutual respect, not suspicion and fear. Ambassador TLA from Viridian, who had initiated peace talks, stood up, her voice clear and composed. Admiral Tran speaks a hard truth. It is time we embrace Earth as a partner. Let us extend the hand of peace and accept their place among us. The alternative is a continued conflict that benefits no one. The debate that followed was intense. Each delegate voiced their concerns, their hopes, and their fears. Tran listened, interjected, and negotiated, his every word imbued with the gravity of his mission. He wasn't just fighting for Earth's survival now, he was fighting for its future. As the hours passed, a consensus began to form, shaped by Tran's unwavering resolve and the persuasive arguments of peace-minded delegates like Thiele. Finally, Chancellor Karek called for a vote. The result was nearly unanimous. Earth would be granted a seat on the Galactic Council. As the assembly hall erupted in a mix of applause and dissent, Tran allowed himself a rare, small smile. This was a victory, hard-earned and worth more than any battle he had fought in space. Admiral Tran, Chancellor Karek conceded as the chamber began to clear, Earth has proven its strength, and perhaps more importantly its wisdom. We welcome you to the Council. Thank you, Chancellor, Tran replied, his tone respectful yet firm. Earth looks forward to building a future where all species can prosper together. Let this be a new beginning.